Contact bearing.
Raise the radar mast. Upscope.
Con sonar, we are cavitating.
Fire VLS. Fire VLS. Fire VLS. Fire VLS. Fire VLS.
Con sonar, launch transient from.
Fire V.
Con sonar, launch transient from.
Fire VLS. Fire VLS. Fire VLS.
Con sonar, launch transient from. Con sonar, lost contact. Master 1, last bearing 037. Contact breaking up.
VLS. Fire 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 VLS.
Con sonar lost contact. Master 4, last bearing make turns for 1. Con sonar, no longer cavitating. Con maneuvering, making turns for 20 knots. Come right to 113, helm aye. Con, helm, steady course. Con, sonar, torpedo in the water, bearing 033. Come right to. Con, helm, steady course. Come left to. Con, maneuvering, making turns for 32 knots. Come left to 357, helm aye.
On. Motor ray has been damaged.
Con, sonar, lost con. Con, sonar, lost contact. Con, sonar, new contact bearing 202, designated Sierra 1. Con, sonar, we are cavitating.
Raise the radar mast.
Con, sonar, launch transient from.
Con, fire VLS.
Con, sonar, launch transient from.
Fire VLS. Fire.
Con, sonar, launch transient from. Con, sonar, launch transient from. Con, sonar, lost contact. Master 2, last bearing 18.
Flooding in the reactor space. Flooding in the reactor space.
Con sonar, we are cavitating.
Rig shift for ultra quiet. Raise the radar mast.
Make turns for 0 knots. Maneuvering aye. Con sonar, new contact bearing 299. Designated Sierra 1. Come right to 296. Helm aye. Make turns for 5 knots. Maneuvering aye. Make turns for 10 knots. Maneuvering aye. Con, helm, steady course. Con sonar, new contact bearing 284. Con sonar, launch transient from Sierra 2.
Fire VLS.
Con sonar, launch transient from Sierra 2. Con sonar, noisemaker bearing 283. Con sonar, Sierra 2 is classified as submerged submarine. Con sonar regained contact on Sierra 1, bearing 312. Con sonar, launch transient from Sierra 1.
Fire VLS.
Con sonar, launch transient from Sierra 1.
Fire VLS.
Make to con sonar, we are cavitating. Con maneuvering, making turns for 20 knots. Con sonar lost contact. Sierra 1, last bearing 313. Contact breaking up. Come left to 246. Helm aye. Con, helm, steady course. Con sonar, Sierra 1 is classified as submerged submarine. sonar, new con. On sonar, lost contact. On sonar, new contact bearing. On sonar, new contact bearing 216, designated Sierra 1.
Raise the radar.
Con sonar, we are cavitating. Con sonar, no longer cavitating. Con sonar.
Raise the ESM map.
Con sonar, launch transient from Sierra 4.
Fire VLS.
Con sonar, launch transient from Sierra 4. Con sonar, new contact bearing 172, designated Sierra 5. Con sonar, lost contact Sierra 3, last bearing 164, contact faded. Con sonar, regained contact on Sierra 3, bearing 165.
Fire VLS. Fire VLS.
Con sonar, launch transient from Sierra 5.
Make turn.
Con sonar, we are cavitating.
Con maneuvering.
Con sonar, launch transient from Sierra 3.
Fire VLS.
Con, fire control.
Fire VLS.
Con, FLYCO, aircraft ready to launch. Con, FLYCO, launching aircraft. Con, FLYCO, aircraft is in the air.
Con sonar, Sierra. Con sonar, launch transient from Sierra 3. Con sonar, noisemaker bearing 203. Con sonar, noisemaker bearing 207.
Con, FLYCO, aircraft transiting to point.
Con sonar, launch transient from Sierra 5. Con sonar, noisemaker bearing.
Make turns for 3, 2.
Con, FLYCO, aircraft orbiting waypoint. Con, FLYCO, aircraft transiting to point. Con, FLYCO, aircraft transiting to point.
Con sonar, lost contact Sierra 4.
Con, FLYCO, aircraft returning to base.
Con sonar, no longer cavitating.
Con. Make
Con sonar, torpedo in the water, torpedo in the water, bearing 214.
Con, FLYCO, aircraft landing. Con, FLYCO, aircraft recovered.
Con sonar, launch transient from Sierra 3.
Con, FLYCO, launching aircraft. Con, FLYCO, aircraft is in the air.
On. Motor ray has been damaged.
Con sonar regained contact on Sierra 2, bearing 208.
Con, FLYCO, aircraft transiting to point.
Damage control parties. Lay to the engine room.
Con sonar, we are cavitating. Con sonar lost con.
Con, FLYCO, aircraft dropping weapon.
Come left to 269 helm.
On. The total ray has been repaired.
Con helm, steady course.
Con, FLYCO, aircraft transiting to point.
Con sonar regained contact on Sierra 2.
Con, FLYCO, aircraft dropping weapon. Con, FLYCO, aircraft returning to base. Con, FLYCO, aircraft ready to launch. Con, FLYCO, launching aircraft. Con, FLYCO, aircraft is in the air.
Con sonar, launch transient from Sierra 2.
Con, FLYCO, aircraft landing. Con, FLYCO, aircraft recovered.
Con sonar, launch transient from Sierra 2.
Con, FLYCO, aircraft dropping weapon. Con, FLYCO, aircraft transiting to point. Con, FLYCO, aircraft returning to base. Con, FLYCO, launching aircraft.
Shoot 2-1, aye sir. Shoot 2-4, aye sir. Shoot 2-2, aye sir. Shoot 2-3, aye sir. Con, fire control, unable to fire.
Con, torpedo room 2-5 ready.
Con, FLYCO, aircraft transiting to point. Con, FLYCO, aircraft orbiting waypoint.
Con sonar regained con helm, steady course.
Flyco, aircraft landing. Con, Flyco, aircraft recovered. Con, Flyco, aircraft stowed. Con, Flyco, aircraft returning to base. Con, Flyco, aircraft landing. Con, Flyco, aircraft recovered. Con, Flyco, aircraft is in the air. Con, Flyco, aircraft transiting.
Con sonar lost contact. Sierra 2, last bearing 197. Contact.
Con, Flyco, aircraft dropping weapon.
Come right to 096. Helm I. Con, helm, steady course. Con sonar, launch transient from Sierra 2.
Con, Flyco, aircraft transiting to point. Con, Flyco, aircraft dropping weapon. Con, Flyco, aircraft returning to base.
Come right to 232. Helm I. Con, helm, steady course.
Con, torpedo room, tube 1 ready. Con, torpedo room, tube 2 ready.
Con, Flyco, aircraft landing.
Con, torpedo room, tube 3 ready.
Shoot 2-1. Aye, sir. Shoot 2-2. Aye, sir.
Flooding in the engine room. Propulsion has been damaged.
Con, torpedo room, tube 4 ready.
Con, Flyco, launching aircraft. Con, Flyco, aircraft is in the air. Con, Flyco, aircraft transiting to point. Con, Flyco, aircraft returning to base. Con, Flyco, aircraft transiting to point. Con, Flyco, aircraft dropping weapon. Con, Flyco, aircraft transiting to point. Con, Flyco, aircraft dropping weapon. Con, Flyco, aircraft returning to base. Con, Flyco, aircraft ready to launch. Con, Flyco, aircraft is in the air.
On. Hood array has been damaged.
Con, Flyco, aircraft landing.
Con, torpedo room.
Con, Flyco, aircraft stowed.
Come right to 259. Con sonar, we are cavitating. Con sonar, launch transient from Sierra 2. Come right to 290. Con sonar, launch transient from Sierra 2.
Shoot 25. Aye, sir. Shoot 23. Aye, sir. Shoot 21. Aye, sir. Shoot 24. Aye, sir. Shoot 26. Aye, sir.
Con, Flyco, aircraft landing. Con, Flyco, aircraft stowed.
Come left to 235. Helm aye. Come right to Con sonar, torpedo in the water, torpedo in the water, bearing 194.
Flooding in the machinery space.
Con sonar, launch transient from Sierra 2.
Con, torpedo room 2-1.
Con sonar, launch transient from Sierra 2. Con, helm, steady course. Come left to 112. Helm aye.
Damage control parties. Lay to the machinery space. Damage control parties. Lay to the engine room.
Con, torpedo room tube 3 ready.
Come left to 081. Helm aye.
Con, torpedo room tube 4 ready.
Con, helm, steady course. Con, sonar, torpedo in the water, torpedo in the water, bearing 258.
Shoot 23. Aye, sir. Shoot 21. Aye, sir. Shoot 24.
Con, sonar, launch transient from Sierra 2.
Con, torpedo room tube 3 ready.
Con, sonar, lost. Come left to 296. Helm aye. Con sonar regained contact on Con sonar. Launch transient from Sierra 2.
Con, helm, steady course.
Sonar, new contact bearing.
Raise the radar mast.
Con sonar, we are cavitating.
Fire VLS. Fire VLS. Fire VLS.
Con sonar, launch transient from. Con sonar, new con sonar, launch transient from.
Fire VLS. Fire VLS. Fire VLS.
Con sonar, launch transient from.
Fire VLS. Fire VLS.
Con sonar, launch transient from.
Fire VLS. Fire VLS.
Con sonar, launch transient from. 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 Con sonar, lost contact. Master 4, last bearing 232. Contact breaking up.
Flooding in the reactor space.
Con sonar, launch transient from. Con sonar, launch transient from.
Fire VLS. Fire VLS. Fire VLS. Fire VLS.
Con sonar, launch transient from.
Fire.
Con sonar, launch transient from.
Fire VLS. Fire VLS. Fire.
Con sonar, launch transient from. Con Con sonar, launch transient from. Con sonar, lost contact. Master, 6, last bearing, 2. Seer con sonar, launch transient from. Con sonar, launch transient from. Con sonar, we are cavitating.
Helm left to 106 helm high.
Fire.
Con sonar, launch transient from.
Fire. VLS. Fire. VLS.
Con sonar, regain contact on. Sierra 8, bearing 191. Con sonar, launch transient from. Con sonar, lost contact. Sierra 8, last bearing 194. Contact faded. Con sonar, lost contact. Master 1, last bearing 223. Con sonar, launch transient from.
Fire. VLS. Fire. VLS. Fire. VLS.
Con sonar, torpedo in the water, torpedo in the water, bearing 193. Con sonar, lost contact. Master 3, last bearing 219. Contact breaking up. Con sonar, regain. Make con sonar, no longer cavitating. Con sonar, we are cavitating. Con sonar.
Con maneuvering, making turns for 20 knots.
Fire. VLS.
Make turns for 20 knots. Maneuvering aye.
Con sonar, Sierra 8 is cavitating. Con sonar, lost contact. Sierra 8, last bearing 215. Contact breaking up. Con sonar, Sierra 8 is classified as submerged submarine.
Flooding in the machinery space.
Con sonar, switching to passive search.